Hey folks, welcome to this session, breakout session. As you can see, this is human-agent collaboration via conversational copilots powered by Amazon Q. How are you guys doing so far? Enjoying the conference? Awesome. Okay, stay awake because as I introduce these folks, there's a couple of gifts coming your way, so he might ask you some questions. I have Chunky Nathani, who's our senior solutions architect from AWS. Chunky, thanks for coming down. Then I have Shane Patel, who's principal product manager, who owns this product line. He works in my team. So I'm going to hand it over to these guys to start off. And then we'll have about 5 minutes of Q&A towards the end. Okay? Over to you, Shane. Thank you.
Do you want to introduce us first?
Okay, I can do this slide, yeah. So, as you've probably seen through the course of the conference, our partnership with Amazon and AWS goes back all the way to when we started providing cloud-native solutions almost 7 years ago. The partnership has involved, it's kind of accelerated with lots more products and capabilities coming into the mix. In fact, this particular solution combines Bedrock, Q Business, SageMaker, you name it, it's a beautiful ISV solution. So thanks for AWS and all the partnerships here. So what do you?
All right, thanks, Jay. So I'm going to start this session off with a little bit of interactivity. What I'd like to do is first just introduce a few findings from some research reports with the key statistics missing. So you can see from IDC Data Age report that a number of hours per day are spent by knowledge workers just searching for information. You can also see that a large number of employees' tasks can be automated, significantly boosting efficiency and employee satisfaction according to McKinsey. And a percentage of employees report difficulty finding information that they need to do their jobs, even though they know it exists somewhere within the company's systems. Next, I'd like to pull up the numbers on the left-hand side. I'm going to play a little matching game here. For the first two, if you can guess the right combination with the left to right, I've got a prize. It's just for the first two numbers because it's best out of three here. This is not whiskey. I'm not allowed to give away alcohol at this event, but I did bring, being Canadian, I did bring down some Canadian maple syrup. It is organic, so hopefully that sounds interesting to you guys to want to participate. Yeah? All right, so for the first one, who wants to take a guess at which one 44 belongs to? Sorry? No. Third one, yeah. Please raise your hand first, but yes, third one, you are correct. Winner. All right, thank you. I'm going to throw one more number up, 2.5 hours. I think you got a hand up here as the first one. Per day. That was an easy one, yes. All right. All right, and the last one is, yes, 30% of employees' tasks can be automated. So some striking findings there, right? We see that nearly half of employees are struggling finding information. We see that employees are burning up 30% of their day just searching across systems for information as well. And a number of tasks can simply be automated. This isn't just about lost productivity. It's also about missed opportunities for greater job satisfaction. And you're probably asking yourself now, how do we solve these challenges? Well, for the next little while, we're going to talk a little bit about how a combination of automation and AI can help you address these challenges. I'm going to start with a little bit of a personal anecdote first, though. I was thinking about my travel day yesterday when I got to the hotel. And I had a number of different AI interactions throughout my travel day, which kind of described how my travel day is really different today than it was, say, 5 years ago, and how much simpler and easier it is. When I woke up in the morning, my phone had pinged me, letting me know that first I had a trip coming up at the airport in a couple hours. It also used AI behind the scenes to calculate routes to the airport and let me know that there was some heavier than usual traffic. So it gave me that heads up that let me manage my morning and reduce that stress. On the way to the airport, I used my Navan app, which is our corporate travel application. And within there, there's a really cool digital assistant. Within that digital assistant, I was able to simply shoot over questions asking for alternative flight options because I was coming over through Chicago, had some bad experiences there in the past, so I just wanted to see if there was any alternate flights available. And within a minute, without having to talk to anybody, it presented me with all those options right there in the chat. I used Uber to get to the hotel. Again, AI is very prevalent within that application as it matches me with a driver based on my vehicle preferences, and it routes me to the hotel in the fastest possible way. When I got to the hotel, I realized that within the Hilton application, there's actually a connected room feature which utilizes AI to be able to automatically apply streaming preferences, my lighting, and my temperature preferences to my room. And lastly, something that we're all going to have to do when we get back to the office is expense management, right? I used SAP Concur, simply took photos of everything that I needed to be able to expense from my Uber rides through to my meals for the day, and automatically it was able to put it into the right expense category and even pull out all the necessary details and populate those expense entries for me. So you can see, like, through these different examples of touch points, AI was able to save me a considerable amount of time and allowed me to be able to enjoy my trip. And so if we look at how AI can also impact not just travel but also our workday, these are just a couple of examples pulled out of some recent research findings that state that AI assistants can reduce the information search time by 65% across various knowledge work tasks, and that's from Accenture Technology Vision. And companies implementing AI assistants for knowledge workers report productivity improvements up to 40% by Harvard Business Review. This is the impact of generative AI. If we put this into real terms, we can see that research shows based on knowledge searches how they take about 2.5 hours per day. If we apply the Accenture savings, as we saw on the previous slide, of 65% on knowledge searches, we can save up to 1.6 hours per employee just on search alone. Layer on automation on top of that, which allows us to be able to save up to 30% of repetitive tasks. That's 1.2 hours per employee just saved on that type of work. If we are able to kind of put all those together into an automation assistant and be able to calculate that workload across 100 employees, that's equivalent of saving 280 total hours per day, the equivalent of hiring 35 employees without actually hiring anyone new. So it's pretty transformational. Now, if we look at the platform that enables that business transformation, we can see here, this is the APA platform that our Automation Copilot is built on, that allows you to be able to have access to that knowledge, to those automations in a conversational way. At the bottom, we have our automation system. This forms the foundation of it all. At the bottom, we have all the capabilities that you're familiar with today. So your traditional RPA, your modern API tasks. We have cloud services built on GCP as well as AWS. Built-in monitoring, security, governance, as well as access to over 1,000 integrations through our bot store, built-in integrations as well, and through our connector builder. On top of that, we have our agentic orchestration, and this is powered by process orchestration, which allows you to be able to address those complex use cases that go across your systems and your employees with built-in features like human in the loop that allow you to be able to pull in things like approvals, data reviews, and exception handling across your automated workflows. As we move up into the agentic system there, we can see that there's a lot of innovation here that we've enabled through our AI agents that allow you to be able to increase productivity for your developers, as well as unlock additional use cases for automation. You can see, for example, we have our development agents within Copilot for Automators, which allows you to be able to describe your use case, like what it is that you're trying to automate, what systems you're trying to have that automation touch, and you can just describe that in natural language. And Copilot for Automators is able to understand exactly what it is that you're describing and build out those automation steps for you. We also have built-in self-healing agents into our generative recorder. And what that allows you to do is to be able to deploy these agents out into your productive environments. And as applications change, the self-healing agents are able to understand those application changes, adjust your automations in real time so that those automations continue to run and ensure that there's no further disruption to your business. We also have a number of additional innovations from document agents all the way through to discovery agents. And we also allow you to be able to bring in your own custom AI agents as well. So where you have a use case that you've identified, you want to be able to build your own AI agents and embed them into your automated workflows. That can be simply done by leveraging our AI Agent Studio as well as enterprise knowledge. And you can leverage any of the built-in connectors into common models such as Anthropic, GPT, as well as Gemini. Or you can also bring in access to your own custom models as well. And this can all be done in a secure way using our AI governance framework. As we look to the center, you'll also see something there that was referenced in the keynotes, the process reasoning engine. The process reasoning engine is a powerful engine that we have just defined and is now available within Automation 360. It really allows you to be able to make sense of all the automation code that you develop. So all of that process code, your API tasks, your bot tasks, all that code is understood by the process reasoning engine, and it could turn that it could turn all that code into an understanding of what it's doing in plain English. So essentially, it allows you to be able to search your automations in a simple way by being able to understand by your business users what it is that they're trying to get to, what it is that they're trying to do, and turn that intent into action. And that's exactly what powers our human agent collaboration solution as we go up into the AI agent solutions layer at the top there. And that's the focus of the presentation today, our automation copilot for business users, powered by Copilot Q, and under the covers, also powered by a process reasoning engine. As we look a little bit deeper into what we get under the covers, human agent collaboration for business users is essentially what we're calling the new capabilities within Automation Copilot that allow business users to be able to converse with the platform, to be able to converse with knowledge, and to be able to do that very seamlessly from anywhere. We've teamed up with Amazon to be able to really combine the powerful capabilities of Automation Copilot today, along with Amazon Q, Amazon Bedrock with Claude large language models, as well as all of your process data, again, through the process reasoning engine, to allow finding and deploying automations super easy for anyone across the business, and to do that simply through conversation. And we've also integrated the powerful capabilities of the Amazon Q's retrieval augmented generation capabilities to allow you to be able to upload and index all of your company's knowledge, or as much of your company's knowledge that you want to be able to put up there to enable the use cases that are necessary for your employees. And that allows you to be able to allow your employees to be able to search that knowledge and do that against grounded company data that you've provided into Amazon Q. This is also a very flexible solution in that it's not just accessible directly through the control room. You can certainly access Automation Copilot as a standalone web application, and it works great in that mode as well. But it's also flexible in the sense that you can deploy it into Salesforce, into Microsoft Teams, ServiceNow, really wherever your employees work, wherever they perform their work. Automation Copilot can be embedded there and be accessible right at their fingertips. And I'm going to show you that in a demonstration shortly. It's also built directly on the Automation 360 platform, which means you automatically inherit all the governance and security features that the APA platform provides. On top of that, we've also enabled all the guardrails that are provided by Amazon Q. So guardrails like hallucination detection, which Q inherently provides, that allows it to be able to understand where, as it's generating the response, where it might have gone wrong, and be able to adjust its response in real time before it provides that response to your business users. Those guardrails are automatically provided and available to your users as part of the Automation Copilot product. Which leads us into our quick demonstration here. So the demonstration I'm about to show you is based on a scenario that you can see up there where we have the old manual world. So we have a sales rep on the very far side. We'll call her Bria for today's demonstration. Her old world was very manual. She used to create credit requests within Outlook. Those would get sent over to the credit analyst, and the credit analyst would have to do a number of tasks, including looking at open opportunities, performing D&B credit scores, as well as pulling out a number of details about payments and invoice aging about the customer from an SAP environment. All this data was then sent over in different formats to a credit director who was responsible for making sense of all that information, looking at the different patterns across all that detail, and then finally determining, is this account eligible for a credit increase or not. End to end, that took probably 6 hours on a good day. During busy periods, it probably took several days to complete. Not ideal, but this was the world that they lived in. Now we're going to take a look at what that looks like with Automation Copilot directly available to Bria within Salesforce, and how she's able to initiate this credit increase request directly from a conversational assistant at her fingertips. We'll also show you how you can how it automatically uses processing agents throughout the workflow that do all that work for that credit analyst. So pulling all that data, the different CRMs, out of the SAP system, getting that credit score done, and handing all that data over to the credit director in a single pane of glass for her to review, which ultimately accelerates the decisioning process and, of course, ends up with a happier sales rep and a happy customer. So I'm just going to flip over to our CRM, and here we can see that this is a customized Salesforce page. Within here, we are looking at this page as Bria. We have our sales opportunity. We can also see here on the top that we have an opportunity for the size of about $500,000, $470,000. But the credit limit on the account is currently $300,000. So we're short. We have a signed PO where the customer wants to be able to close this opportunity, but we don't have the credit to do so. So we need to be able to figure out how to get this credit, right? Again, previously this was done via email and a lot of communication that happened offline. We're going to show you how this can be done directly through our Automation Copilot that you see here on the right-hand side, which is embedded directly into Salesforce, again, where our sales rep works every day. So here she's going to do something as simple as type in, I want to, so I'm just typing in my intent, right? I want to increase the credit limit for my customer. This is basically the outcome that I want to achieve. And I'm just entering in my conversation. I don't know what automations exist out there. There could be tens, there could be hundreds of different automations. Instead of spending my time searching through those automations and trying to figure out which one's the right automation for my use case and which one should I be using, instead, I'm simply just typing in what I want to achieve, and I'm allowing the process reasoning engine to take that, pull out the intent, match it to the right automation within the control room, and surface that up for me. That's exactly what it's done here. So as Bria, I'm just going to read this through. This looks like exactly what I want to achieve. And I'm going to go ahead and click start. But before I do so, there's one more thing I want to highlight here. The middle portion there, the summary, the automation title, credit limit increase request does X, Y, Z. I want to highlight that that's something that we are also generating. So we know that most of our customers don't fill in description fields. There isn't a lot of accurate metadata about what the automations out there do. And so what a process reasoning engine does is, as I mentioned earlier, it's making sense of all your bot code, and it's producing English summaries of exactly what those automations are doing. And this is an example of that. It's read through all the different bots, all the different forms that comprise this entire end-to-end process. And it's actually producing a short 3 or 4 line description here of exactly what this process is doing. So as I come forward and I'm trying to search for the right process for my need, it's actually matching my intent or my request up with not just the title, but also the detail within the summary there, which allows it to be able to more accurately locate the right automation for users. Okay, let me go ahead and just start that. And now in the background, what it's doing is it's just initiating a request, and we can see the process here. So I'm getting that form. So if you are familiar with our processes, or typically our processes are a combination of automation steps, but they also have a form or multiple forms built into the process flow. And in this case, the initial form allows it to be able to capture context about what it is that we're automating. In this case, we're automating a credit increase for Polyscope Labs that we can see here for this particular opportunity. We have the customer tier identified, and we're going to provide some additional details as well. So I want to increase the credit limit to $500,000. And I'm going to use my clipboard and just populate that reason for request is because we have a customer that's ready to sign a large deal. They have net 60 terms, and we need some more credit. I'm also going to upload a copy of the purchase order. So that way that purchase order, that's a PDF right now, is going to be digitized, and the data within it is going to be available as part of the process. Let's go ahead and submit that. And now in the background, we have our first automation steps running. If I click on show details here, we can see that the first task was our human task. So we submitted that form intake. And the second task is our extract purchase details, extract purchase order detail step, which is making use of our document extraction capabilities to understand all that data within that PDF document, and is pulling out all the necessary details that we want as part of our process flow. Now, while it's taking place, we're not locked out of this assistant. I can certainly continue to converse with it. So maybe I want to ask questions like, what are the rules? What are the rules for credit increases for on a signed PO with net 60 terms? Now we're demonstrating the knowledge portion of this, right? So you saw how easy it was for me to get access to my automations. I searched for an automation, I launched that automation is now running in the background, it's processing the work, and it'll come back to me when I have something that it needs my attention for. In the meantime, I might have questions to ask, just like this one. I want to know what the rules are for credit increases on a signed PO with net 60 terms. Instantly, it was able to go and search its knowledge base of information. Within this particular Q Business application, we've uploaded dozens and dozens of different documents, all representing different domains of information. And we have about 3 or 4 different documents that represent this credit limit increase scenario. It was able to go in and find the right document. We can see the document name here as I expand details. The procurement credit policy, that's where it found the answer. And you can see that it was able to extract out of this 20-page document the right piece of text, or the right pieces of text, and summarize that into a single paragraph for my review. So I have the answer that I'm looking for credit increases with net 60 payment terms. There's some rules. It lists out those rules for me. And it gives me the information I'm looking for. So this is great. I'm happy with this. But we can also see something interesting that came back on the bottom here. Right after that information was retrieved, we also got a notification right there in the chat that a task was assigned to me, the validate extraction task. So I'm just going to pull this up. This is now telling me that this task is too large because there's a document within it. You might want to open up in a new window. So go ahead and do that. Typically, I wouldn't put a validation task right within the workflow and send it back to the user who initiated the request. We would send that off to a document validator to go in and do this step. But I just wanted to put it in here for demonstration purposes to show that, look, when there are multiple steps within a process flow and we want to pull that employee back in to help with data review, with exception handling, or even if we wanted to involve them in document validation, we could do that. We can do that directly through the conversation flow. In this case, we're just showing that, look, Bria uploaded the purchase order and that we were able to extract accurately all the pieces of information directly out of that document and digitize it, again, for downstream within the process flow. You also notice that as I hover over the net terms here, that it's not highlighting any text. That's because we're also making use of some of our AI agents within the document extraction flow here. The value itself is actually contained within this unstructured field under the terms and conditions section of our document. But within this particular learning instance, we've enabled the generative AI capabilities for it to be able to use a generative AI model to look for piece of text like the next 60 terms within this overall document, the text within this document, and pull it out if it's able to find it. So it is actually using a mix of pulling out data from the structured content, which is highlighted here, as you can see, and it's also using generative AI to be able to unlock some of that unstructured data within this document and get access to those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that back into the flow. And now in the background, what this is going to do is just run through some of those processing agents that I mentioned earlier, pulling those opportunities out of my Salesforce CRM, pulling out the invoice aging report out of SAP, and making all that information available in one single pane of glass for my data, my credit director. And again, while it's doing that, I'm not locked out of asking questions. I'm gonna flip over to my notepad here and just grab a question. It's a lot faster than me typing it. And come back in here. Let's ask that question. And again, it's going to go back out and find the right document or documents and be able to pull that information out of those using Amazon Q's retrieval augmented generation capabilities and display that right within the conversation. I thought this one was interesting. I want to highlight this one as well because this isn't just referencing a single document. Here we have a credit policy. We also have a credit approval playbook. So two fairly large documents that we have uploaded into Amazon Q. And again, we have a nice, concise answer summarized directly within our Copilot that represents data across 30 or 40 pages of information, but I have the accurate information that I'm looking for. It's easy for me to consume. I can take action on this as part of decision making, and I can move on. I've been asked to speed up, so I'm just going to jump over to Microsoft Teams momentarily and just go over to my Teams app just to finish off the demo flow. All right, and what we're doing now is just putting on the hat of a credit approver. Our credit approver is going to jump over to Microsoft Teams. You can see we have Copilot embedded within Microsoft Teams here. So the credit approver spends her time working directly in Teams, collaborating with other users across the organization. And here, she's able to manage her tasks directly within Teams without actually having to leave the Teams environment. She gets this update that there's a task assigned to her right within Teams. And she can see that within here, we have this single pane of glass that I mentioned. We have our customer details shown on the top here. As we scroll down, we have our reason for increase that was entered by the sales rep. We have our DMB credit risk and score. We have our CRM sales pipeline that was pulled out of Salesforce there. And we also have our invoice aging report in the middle here showing us the total pipeline, the outstanding balance, the net payment terms, 32 average days to pay on net 45 payment terms. Not too bad, but there's nothing that's past due and a pretty small outstanding balance. We also below have a risk summary. So that risk summary was something that was generated by AI. Here we use a generative model to be able to consume all this information. It also reached into our documents, our business documents where those credit policies are defined, and it was able to pull together this really great risk summary that explains that this is a large expansion opportunity. But if we look at the bottom here, based on available financial indicators and retrieve policy guidance, this request is considered to be low to moderate risk and supported by business context. So from an approver standpoint, this is giving me a little bit of guidance in terms of what to do next. I don't have to spend a lot of time going through all these reports and all this data. It's giving me the supporting information. It also tells me exactly which documents it was able to pull all that information out of. So I have that source attribution. I can trust that this is accurate data. So I'm going to go ahead and just approve that decision. Oops, already submitted. And we get an update for the credit, for the sales rep directly in the conversation, letting them know that their request is approved. So within the 10, 15 minutes that it took me to do that demo, the sales rep got their decisioning. They're happy. They're going to go ahead and close that deal, and the customer is happy as well. So let's jump back over to the slides. All right. So in terms of what do you get out of the box? So everything here is delivered right on our Automation Anywhere AWS Cloud. On the left-hand side, you can see that we have our Automation 360 platform. This is where your users will enter through the Copilot conversational experience on the left-hand side. From an authentication standpoint, nothing changes versus what you have today. Users will continue to log in with SAML or database authentication, whatever you've configured for your environment. As user requests do come in, those are routed through into our reasoning or routing service that you see in the middle. So that's part of our process reasoning engine, which again is used to be able to understand what it is that the user is asking for. So are they asking for an automation? Are they asking for information? If they're asking for an automation, what type of automation are they asking for? So we make sense of that information, and we make use of our process reasoning engine to be able to then route that request and service that request appropriately. For automations, those go back into the control room. For information, we route those into Amazon Q Business, where we will source that information directly from the Automation Anywhere plugins, from the RAG index, or from the underlying large language model if that is turned on within the Q Business environment. And then from a data management perspective, that's all going to be managed directly through the control room. So the connector that we're using with Amazon Q Business is the S3 bucket. And the S3 bucket is what will house your documents as you upload those for ingestion into the Q Index. But we're building that data management interface directly into the control room. So you don't have to have access into our AWS environment. You don't need to understand or have to use the AWS interfaces. Everything will be managed directly through the control room. We're providing a new AI knowledge management area where your users will be able to go and upload, delete, and sync their data into the Q Index. And again, once that data is synced, it then becomes searchable directly through Automation Copilot, as you saw earlier. What about all the automations that you build, right? How do those summaries get generated? As I explained in the demo earlier, we have those summaries. At one point, do they get generated and stored so they become searchable? We've made this super easy for you as well. On day one, those can be triggered by the administrator as a bulk process. So there'll be a setting within the control room. The administrator will come in and just turn that on, and we will, in the background, go through every one of your repository assets and produce the necessary summaries that will allow, again, for those automations to be searchable through Copilot. And then from an ongoing basis, they'll also be done directly when a developer checks in an automation into the public repository. There'll be an event in the background that gets triggered, and we'll automate that process of creating that summary. Now, what happens downstream is we do scan that code, so we remove things like PII, passwords, API keys, anything that's sensitive data contained in those, we try to remove those for you. Of course, you shouldn't have those things within your automation code anyway, but should there be any instances of that hard-coded in there, we try our best to remove those so that those aren't sent into any type of AI. We then generate a technical summary of, again, all the different assets that make up your processes. So from process code through your AI agents, your bot code, all of those have a associated technical summary, which we then read off of to create the business summary, and that gets stored into what we call a vector database. It's a specialized database that allows searching for those descriptions super easy, and that's what the search will be based on when users come into Automation Copilot and ask for an automation. Now, what do you get out of the box? So we talked about managing the document uploads and syncing through the control room. You'll also be able to secure your documents by role. We understand that you'll have use cases where HR might upload their documents and they want those to be secure and only accessible by HR users. Similarly, you might have knowledge bases that are available to only your customer support team, and you don't want them crossing over and searching each other's data. You'll be able to actually put data access controls right on top of your data using a role-based access within the control room so that you can deploy Automation Copilot across your business units and ensure that only those units that should have access to their data are only searching their particular data sources. Your RBAC that you have in place will be respected today, so anything that you built from a security architecture standpoint within the control room, there's nothing additional, no new rules, no new permissions that you need to apply. Everything that you have built today continues to apply, so that just ensures that we can deploy super easily when this is available for you. We take full advantage of auditing within the control room as well, so all the conversations that your users will have through Copilot will be audited within our auditing framework, and all that will be tracked for your admins and your IT security teams as well. From a ingestion standpoint, we'll support PDFs, Word, all the common file types that you probably have data stored within, from Excel through to PowerPoint. All that data can be ingested directly into Amazon Q in the background, again, making all the content within searchable. And as I mentioned, they'll be embeddable into any SaaS application or any web application as well, as you saw within the demo flow earlier. Next, I'd like to hand it over to Chunky to talk a little bit more about Amazon Q Business and Bedrock.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane. It was a really great presentation and great demo. For those who joined late, let me introduce myself. I am Chunky Nathani. I'm Senior Partner Solutions Architect for ISVs like Automation Anywhere. And today I'll be talking about how Automation Anywhere is leveraging Amazon Q Business and Amazon Bedrock in human agent collaboration conversation solution. So before I talk about Amazon Q Business and Amazon Bedrock, I want to go over the comprehensive generative AI tools that AWS provides. I'll start at the foundation level. This is the infrastructure for model training and inference layer, where we provide the infrastructure for training your own foundation models. And this layer is specifically for the niche companies who are into this business, and they want to train their own foundation models. Now, the middle layer, which is the tools to build with the large language models and other foundation models. And as you've heard from Shane, that in the human agent collaboration solution, Automation Anywhere is leveraging Amazon Bedrock, which provides tools to build with LLMs and FMs. So it is a fully managed service, which gives you access to the large language models and foundation models by multiple model providers. And it also gives the capability to integrate guardrails, agents, custom capabilities, and model import with your models. And the top layer is the applications that leverage LLMs and foundation models. Now, this is a plug and play type of services. So if you do not want to do heavy lift, or if you do not want to train your own models, we do the heavy lifting, and we provide you these services, which is Amazon Q Business, Amazon Q Developer, Amazon Q in QuickSight, and Amazon Q in Connect. But today we are not going to talk about all of these services. So I'll be focusing on Amazon Q Business and Bedrock, as we are using this for the Automation Anywhere solution. Now, just want to know, have anyone of you heard about Amazon Q Business or know what Amazon Q Business is before I talk about it? Raise your hand. Okay, there are a few people. All right, so it is a service. It is specifically created for enterprise users. So it delivers quick, accurate, and relevant answers to your business questions, and it is also secure and private. So let me emphasize on secure and private. We do not use customer data to train our underlying models, and it can actions. So you've heard about AI agents all day, right? So one type of application is you want to just leverage the data from your enterprise applications. But there are another way of building GenAI applications, which is, you want to, do actions, which Shane mentioned in his demo. So that's, one capability. The other one is it connects to over 40 enterprise applications. So you might be using all these enterprise applications for your day-to-day job in your companies. So Amazon Q Business provides you to the 40 or more than 40 connectors, and which I'll talk about in the next few slides. And one important capability that I would like to emphasize on is the permissions. So if currently you are not using Q Business, and in your company, employees have access to a set of documents. So let's say human resource employees will have access to HR documents. The financial employees will have access to the financial reports. The marketing team will have access to the marketing documents. So it respects your access control list, and based on that, it provides access to the set of users. So that is what we focus on. Now, these are the 40 connectors that I talked about. And as you can see here, there are some collaborative connectors like Box. There is Amazon Simple Storage Service for storing your documents. There are other connectors. And if you do not use any of these connectors, and if you are using some connectors which are not mentioned here, we have custom connector. So if your enterprise application has an API access point, you can integrate that using custom connector capabilities. Now, before I talk about Amazon Q Index, I wanted to talk about some of the challenges that we all face in our day-to-day life. Typically, 6 to 11 applications are being used by employees in the company. And it takes more than 2 hours of work in a week to do our jobs, because we would like to switch from one application to another to do our daily job, right? So these are the challenges that we understood that companies, employees are facing. And to solve those challenges, we came up with the feature under Amazon Q Business, which is called Amazon Q Index. So it reduces security risk by providing a single index of enterprise data, which is managed by AWS. Now, we know how difficult it is to build connectors and then maintain those connectors. So we took the heavy lifting, and we are creating and maintaining all these connectors so that you can gather all this data under single index using just single API. So it can access data from multiple applications using a single API, and it provides fine-grained permissions. As I mentioned before, that if a particular set of employees have permission to only one type of group, then they will access the data. They will not be able to, so HR employees will not be able to access data for the marketing related documents. Now, this is just the architecture diagram. It is a very high-level architecture diagram of how ISV applications like Automation Anywhere can access Q Index. So as you can see on the right-hand side, there are multiple enterprise applications or tools that you use on a daily basis. You might use Slack to chat with your teammates. You might use Asana to do your project management. You use Box, GitHub for your collaboration tools. So what you can do is you can integrate your Amazon Q Index with all these enterprise applications, gather this data, and alongside with this, if you manage your own index to do the perform and process the data, so you can combine this Q Index data and this your own ISV data and send it to RAG and agents. Now, what Automation Anywhere is doing is they're leveraging Amazon Bedrock foundation models, and they are sending it to process reasoning engine, which Shane talked about. I do not want to go into detail over it because it's and then you can send it to your ISV application like Automation Copilot, and the user can interact with it with just natural language. So this is how beautiful it is to collaborate data from multiple enterprise applications and then do for processing. This is, as I mentioned initially, that Amazon Bedrock. It is a managed service for accessing foundation models and large language models. And it is a fully managed service. So it has a serverless capabilities. It has guardrails that I talked about. And it has agents. So these are all the features that provides Amazon Bedrock. And along with it, it provides 3 approaches to manage your foundation models, which is retrieval augmented generation, RAG, which is fine-tuning and continued pre-training. Now these specific approaches depends on what is your use case, and based on that, for example, you want to provide more context to your users and RAG agents, so you can use RAG approach and give information, and it will not modify your foundation model that you use, and it will be able to provide more context to the models and provide the user the response they are looking for. So this is all I wanted to say. The Amazon Q Business and Bedrock is being used in Automation Copilot. So thank you. If you have, yeah. Thank you.